So you're thinking about moving to Colorado Springs, but you're also thinking, that's down there a ways, like that's nowhere near Denver. Well, I guess it really just depends on what you need in a city and where you're planning on putting your roots down. So in this video, I'm gonna make it really easy for you. I'm gonna give you my top 10 reasons why you should not move to Colorado Springs. So stay tuned because we're getting into it next. Hey, what's up everyone? Mark Davis here and welcome to the Colorado Springs Life. And if this is the first time to the channel and you want to know everything there is to know about living, working, and playing right here in the Springs, then you're in the right place. And if you're thinking about moving your family out to Colorado Springs or any of our surrounding areas, then give us a call. My team and I, we get contacted with folks all over the country and we absolutely love it. So reach out, give us a shout, shoot us a text, send us a DM, email us, whatever works best for you. We got your back when moving to the Springs. Okay, so you're thinking about moving to Colorado Springs, right? But you're on the fence, right? Like you're not sure if you should make the move. Unless you have an imminent job transfer or you are military and you have a change of duty station, it's a free country. You can live wherever you want, okay? So without further ado though, let's go ahead and see what's made my list. Number 10, marijuana dispensaries. In Colorado Springs, there's a weed shop almost on every corner. I mean, it's legal here.
Thanks, Captain Obvious.
And the city is not complaining. Based on a 12% local tax rate on recreational marijuana sales in the state's second largest city would collect over $98 million over a 5-year span, according to Colorado College professor Neil Rappaport. And these medical marijuana dispensaries have these really cool and wholesome names like Epic Remedy, Tweed Leaf, Emerald Fields, High Country Healing, the Chronic Boutique, Native Roots, or the Herb Shop with the neon. They always seem to be located in these really inconspicuous locations, very convenient, like in strip malls and standalone stores right next to a donut shop or a Romantics video store or even a KFC or Burger King. And in the case of Bobby Brown Best Buds, a bail bonds building that was converted into a marijuana dispensary. And none of this seems out of the ordinary for folks here. It's not like you come to Colorado Springs and there's these big old clouds of smoke everywhere. It's nothing like that. Matter of fact, our city is actually pretty clean. You don't really smell anything. But what I notice a lot is people walking around with vaping cigarettes and these different types of devices for smoking, and you never really know what's in it. You know, if it's like an e-cigarette, like a tobacco product because it's like flavored, or if it's, you know, marijuana or weed or whatnot, you just never really know. So I guess it just depends on, you know, folks that are out there. It's like public intoxication. You know, you can't be intoxicated under anything while you're driving or in the public. But and again, you don't really see people stumbling around on our city streets, but you do see those weed shops everywhere. And they're everywhere. So number 9, no pro sports teams. Absolutely no pro sports teams here in Colorado Springs.
We're talking about practice, man.
If you want pro sports, you got to head to Denver, where they got the Denver Nuggets, the Denver Broncos, the Colorado Avalanche, the Colorado Rockies, Major League Baseball, but nothing here. I noticed that a lot of people, what they'll do is they'll drive up to like Highlands Ranch, hop on a light rail, takes them right downtown Denver, and then they'll enjoy their sports, pro sports. So, and that's definitely a nice, fun thing to do. We do have a Division II professional soccer franchise though here in the Colorado Springs Switchbacks, and so that's actually really cool. A lot of people are jumping on the bandwagon with watching soccer, and there's a new Switchbacks soccer stadium that was recently opened, brand new downtown. So it's definitely on my list of things to go do. Bring the wife, bring my 2 boys, and actually just have fun, watch professional soccer. So that's definitely on my list. I haven't had a chance to do that yet, but definitely this summer, for sure, it's on my list. So number 8 is guns, guns, guns. Colorado Springs loves their guns. We're open carry. People here definitely feel strongly about the Second Amendment, the right to bear arms. I mean, there's folks here that have so many guns. They got more guns than they do family members.
Switch up the flow, show you the way that it go. God is good, but his life is hard. But it gets better when you grind small.
So, but people, you're gonna walk around and you'll be at a grocery store and you'll notice somebody, just with the gun holstered on their hip, just like normal. You're looking at them and they're looking at you, and they just happen to have a gun right there. So if that's something that you're not used to, then that might be a culture shock when you come to Colorado Springs. Number 7, the Springs is flat. The Springs is not located in the mountains. So a lot of people that are coming here, I don't know if they didn't do their homework or research or whatnot, but they come here thinking that it's going to be like living in Aspen or Vail somewhere where there's just snow everywhere and mountains and trees, and it's going to be like Aspen extreme. But you get here and it's not like that at all. It's dry, it's flat, there's no big trees, and that's it. So now obviously Colorado Springs has a ton of mountains. Colorado Springs is right in the middle of the state of Colorado, and so half the state has mountains. West side of the state has mountains, east side is all flat, heading towards Kansas. So where we are, right up against the foothills, right up against the Front Range, you're gonna enjoy kind of both. You are gonna have a lot of elevations here, meaning that the topography is really different. So the line of sight is awesome. I mean, I know some places like down south, maybe even back east, you're just lined with trees and like the line of sight is not there. But here, the line of sight is really nice. You can see for miles and miles because you might be up on a ridge. You might be in part of the like hill country or a higher elevation. There's also valleys and ravines, but then there's also peaks, and you're not even in the mountains yet. The mountains themselves are just like super vertical. You see those mountains and they just go vertical. You're not in them, but you always can see them, and you always know that that's west. And so that's how we look at it. West is the mountains, east is flat, north is Denver, and south is New Mexico. Number 6, Colorado Springs is not that easy to use. And I said that because of our walkability ranking and basically the fact that you do need a car here. If you're gonna be here traveling around, you're not gonna do that riding a bike or a scooter or walking. You can walk downtown just fine, but to travel and get places, you gotta have a car. The good news is we don't have crazy traffic like other bigger cities. Our traffic's reasonable and I think actually pretty mild. Now if you hit rush hour, you're gonna, which is usually from 5 to 7 and in the mornings, 7 to 9, then you're gonna get some traffic. But for the most part, the roads and the streets and the freeways are pretty mild, but you definitely do need a car because we're so spread out. We're not all concentrated in a big city. We have kind of a smaller footprint, smaller downtown city surrounded by suburbs. So that's something to definitely keep in mind. Number 5, volatile weather.
We're all a little fatigued from these powerful winds we've been dealing with for the better part of a week now. But
Very, very strong gusts of wind in the Front Range.
This is one of my favorite ones to talk about because it's so misunderstood. You almost have to get here and see this weather for yourself to really understand it. And in true Colorado Springs fashion, it's always going to hit you when you least expect it, when you're not prepared. You'll see big old trees knocked down, knocked over, and it's not predictable. I think that's what makes it so crazy. One minute it's warm and sunny, the next minute it snows. You prepare for the snow, then the next day it's 70 degrees again and it melts off. And then it refreezes because of the ice. So then you have black ice slipping and sliding. People don't necessarily know how to drive if they're not from here. So they're thinking, oh, the roads are clear. When it's the most slick is when our snow melts, freezes over, and then turns to ice, and you don't even really know that it's there. Number 4 is thin air. altitude sickness, being at a high elevation, a mile high above sea level, means that our air here is very thin. It's very thin and very dry. Dry, thin air. If you're not used to that, if you're used to somewhere that has a lot of humidity, you're gonna get here and just be like, wow. Matter of fact, a lot of homes here, new homes especially, they put humidifiers in the homes to treat the air because it's so thin. So if you get here and you think you're in shape and you get here and you run on the treadmill or you run, you might be out of breath really quickly, quicker than what you're used to, because there's just not as much air and your body hasn't climatized yet. So if you're not in that great of shape and you get here and you start overexerting yourself, moving boxes, moving into your new house or whatnot, you're gonna get out of breath really quick. You might have some nosebleeds, you might have some headaches, you might feel lightheaded.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
Definitely, when you get here, just take it easy. Just take it easy. I know you're gonna probably be, super motivated to go hike a 14er and go hit Manitou Incline and start doing all this active outdoor stuff. But just the first day or two, first week, just kind of take it easy. Number 3 is real estate. Real estate is very competitive here. Now, whether that's considered expensive or inexpensive is really subjective. I can debate with people that the real estate market is very affordable here and they wouldn't agree. And I can debate with other people that the real estate market is very expensive and they wouldn't agree either. So I think that our market, you can still get a lot for your money here in Colorado Springs compared to the East Coast and the West Coast. Now, parts of the Midwest, you can probably get more house than you can here in Colorado Springs. I know parts of Texas, I see some of these homes in Texas and they're freaking huge. And I'm like, wow, that would be a $1 million property here. One thing though that we don't have is crazy property taxes. And I did a video on that. So I think that's part of what makes it more affordable. And it just depends on where you are and your lifestyle and the type of house that you're looking for. And you might already know this coming into Colorado that you're gonna have to prepare for highest and best type of situation. So just get with a really good realtor that knows the market very well, have early conversations, come up with a strategy on exactly how you plan on getting what you want done. And a good realtor can definitely give you advice on how to navigate the market. Number 2, lifestyle. So if you are not an active outdoor person, you're not really, you don't care about hiking and biking and fishing and camping and the great outdoors, then you might get here and you might think it's okay, but it might not get you super excited, get you out of bed. If that's the case, that could be something that I would consider a negative, because you get here and that's all everyone talks about is where they're gonna go hiking or biking, where they're gonna go camping, where their cabin is, where they're driving up for the weekend. And it's like a mass exodus out of the city because people are starting their weekends and people love it. And it's really cool. I enjoy it a lot myself. But if you're somebody that's more of a homebody that doesn't really like to get out and do things, then it might just end up annoying you. Everyone's gonna be talking about, what are you gonna go do this weekend? Where are you going? What kind of mountain bike do you have? What gym do you belong to? So if you're somebody that doesn't like the outdoors, you're gonna be hit with high altitude, crazy weather. You got high altitude to deal with, altitude sickness, climatizing. Then you got the crazy weather don't get you. Then you're gonna be constantly hearing people in your ear talking about how nice the weather is and that you need to go out and enjoy and go fly fishing. And so that could get annoying if you don't have an ATV, if you don't have a camper, or you're not interested in camping, if you don't have a 4x4, if you're just into whatever you're into and it's not outdoors, you get here and it's going to be annoying, because that's what almost everyone talks about: health, fitness, active outdoor lifestyle, and the great outdoors. And number 1 is homelessness, our problem with the homeless population here. Now, I did a video on this and I cited the point in time survey, which accounts for people that are living on the streets that the city is trying to track. There's probably many more. In 2021, it was 1,156 people. But I definitely noticed that there are homeless people whenever I go on my runs in the morning, downtown especially, through Colorado College and downtown by the trail system. You always have tents. people just laid out in sleeping bags, homeless. And, you know, it concerns my wife. She's always like, don't run down there, it's not safe. And, you know, somebody could jump out of the bushes or whatever. And, but you definitely notice that there's people that are having a tough time. And I think that the city needs to, you know, do an even better job. I think they're doing an okay job. I think there's some room for improvement there. But for the amount of people that we have here, you see it. I think that issue can be fixed and can be sorted, and we can do a better job of that. So now, if you're still considering moving here and you want to know more about what Colorado Springs has to offer, then start by subscribing to the channel, hit that little bell notification button so you never miss out. And as always, my friends, until next time, Mark out.